Hi there. Here we are on the last lesson of this unit. Today, on this lesson, we're going to be talking about opposites, but not just opposites, but opposites as they relate to reflection. Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about what a reflection means in terms of opposites. When you look into a mirror, you see you, right? You see your face, but you see it flipped, right? You basically see the opposite image of what everybody else sees because it's backwards. All right. What I mean by opposites mathematically, though, is you're going to notice that when we actually reflect a point over an axis, we see actual negative values of the original. We see the opposite. Before I go into like a rambling, a rambling speech about what I mean, let's just go ahead and jump into it and you'll actually see what I'm talking about. I'm going to start with the blue star over here. Okay, on top of this list over here, the blue star we're going to plot at the point 4, 6. So x value of 4, y value of 6. And then we're going to reflect it across the y-axis. And then you'll see what I mean by opposites. We know what opposites are in terms of number lines, right? It's a number that is the same distance away from 0 as the original number we were thinking of. This is very close to the same thing. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to put a blue star at 4, 6. Right there. Now, the instructions are telling me to reflect it across the y-axis. So see, here's the y-axis right here. Let's pretend the y-axis is a mirror. This little blue star is looking in the mirror. And the blue star is going to see itself, but it's going to be on the other side. It's going to be in the exact same place, except it's going to be on the other side of the y-axis. Now, this original star is 4 spaces away, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 spaces away from the y-axis. I'm not going to change the x or the y value at all. I'm going to keep it at 6, but I'm going to keep going 4 spaces on the other side of the y-axis. This is what we call a reflection. Okay. Notice that the original point is at positive 4 and the new point is at negative 4. Opposites, right? We know that. So when we're trying to reflect something across an axis, we're basically saying two opposites of each other. So if I were to say, what is the new point once I've reflected 4, 6 across the x or the y-axis? It is now negative 4, 6. Notice the only thing that's changed is the x value, okay? Because they're actually in the same position in terms of y. So how about the next one? We have a red star at negative 6, 2. And this time we're reflecting it across the x-axis. This time it's this axis, the horizontal axis that's acting like a mirror. So if I have this star at 2 places above the x-axis, now it's going to go 2 places below. 1, 2. Now it's 2 spaces below that axis. And now it's reflected. The x-axis is like the middle point, right? And I have negative 6, 2. So what's the new point? And notice that I'm not expecting the negative 6 to change at all, right? It's staying in the same place as in terms of x. But the one thing that really did change was the y value. The y value is now the opposite of what it originally was. Okay? Try the next one. Next one I have 0, 1. So 0 in the x direction and 1 in the y direction. Okay? We're going to reflect that across the x-axis. So it's at 1 right now, 1 above the x-axis, which means my reflection is going to be 1 below the x-axis. And I should see a new point that has an opposite y value of the original. And that's actually that's what happens. X doesn't change. It's in the same x position, but my new y value is the opposite of the original. And the last one, we're starting at negative 4x, but we're not going anywhere in the y direction, so it plops right there on the x-axis at negative 4. And I'm going to reflect it across the y-axis, okay? So here it is originally. It takes 4 spaces for it to get to the y-axis, which means its reflection is going to go 4 spaces past it in the other direction. Now I have two opposites. So instead of negative 4, now I have positive 4. Do you see the meaning of opposites when I'm talking about that? Whenever you're dealing with opposites, you're basically just reflecting it over one of the axes. In 7th grade, we're going to talk about reflecting it over the origin. And in 8th grade, we're going to talk about reflecting it over other lines. And it starts getting pretty cool. But this is my introductory. Now, the practice right underneath this is actually going to give you a shape. It's going to give you 3 points. And it's going to make a triangle. I think it's only triangles out of those 3 points. Your job is to reflect all 3 points across the axes and show how the shape itself is reflected. It's pretty neat, and I know you can do it. It's everything we just did. The only thing you're going to do differently is you're going to connect the dots. So good luck on the practice. Give the unit checkup a try after this, and we'll see you in the next unit.